Hi guys, hi beautiful people, you're welcome to my channel. So today is my standout for Miss Grand International. Okay, yes, standouts from the African region. Okay, yes. You guys know that I'm not really a fan of Miss Grand because of what happened last year. You guys remember that last year no African country made it to the top 20. So I'm just not into prediction, but I would also talk about my standouts from the African region. Okay. For me, personally, I know that African countries put a lot of effort in Miss Grand, and they don't get that recognition that they deserve. And for what happened last year, I just logged out of talking about Miss Grand that much. But this year, I said, okay, let me just talk about my standout so far in the competition. All right, so this year we had 8 African countries in attendance, which was a far cry from what happened last year. I think last year we had more African countries in attendance. I feel like because of what happened, a lot of African countries dropped out of the competition. Okay, so this year we had Egypt, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Nigeria, Angola, and Ghana in attendance. Okay, so just 8 African countries in attendance, and so far I have my standouts, okay, from this region. Given the fact that Ghana, Zambia, and Tanzania made it to the top 16 of in the talent category, I feel like those three countries rather, they are putting a lot more effort than the rest. Okay, I would say my disappointments were Egypt. During the opening ceremony, I was not really a fan of what she wore. And also South Africa has not really stood out for me in this competition. Same with Zimbabwe. I think these 3 countries, they're not really standing out to me. South Africa, Egypt, and Zimbabwe, they've not really stand out to me. That's my own personal opinion though. But I would say the standouts for me are Zambia, Tanzania, Angola, Nigeria, and Ghana. Okay, those are the 4 countries that I feel like they've been standing out to me from the African region. And I feel like Ghana is my number 1 country that I feel she can't make the top 20 from the African region. But I don't know if Mr. Nawat is ready to crown a lady without that is on low court. Okay, you guys know that Ghana Faith Porter, she's on low court, and she's one of the standouts that a lot of persons are rooting for her. Okay, she's one of the standouts that people are really rooting for. Even here in Nigeria, I've seen a lot of other pageant bloggers that I've talked to. They are also rooting for Ghana as well. She has a very great voice. She sings very well. I think she's going to win the talent category from the African region. I see her winning. Ghana came in this year with the fire and with the fighting spirit, and I feel like she is one candidate that has been making waves even before she arrived to Thailand. So I feel like Ghana is one country that we should look out for, that can fly the African flag high in the top 20. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, another country that I feel like can also pull strings is Nigeria. But at this point, it's 50-50, okay? 50-50 for Nigeria. I was not really a fan of her when she won the national pageant, but I feel like, going into the competition, she has really proved me wrong by, the effort she's putting in, the opening ceremony, the session ceremony. So far, she has really been doing very well in the various competitions and, in the Miss Grand pageant. So far, she's really doing more than I anticipated. So it's kind of 50-50 for Nigeria. She might make it, she might not make it. So I'm on the fence about Nigeria. But another country too that I feel like can pull through is Zambia. Zambia has a fighting spirit. I feel like she had the best gown in the opening ceremony from the African region. Yeah, I think Zambia is one country that can make the top 20, and also another country that I feel, can also pull through is Tanzania. She did very well in the, in the roundtable discussion with Mr. Nawat and the current Miss Grand International. Sorry guys, the current Miss Grand International, CJ Opiaza from Philippines. Okay, so she had a roundtable discussion with them and Papa Nawat, and I feel like Miss Tanzania stood out for me in that particular roundtable discussion. Let's see how it goes in the prelims and in the other competitions leading to the finals. I wish the African countries the best of luck, but as it is, I'm on the fence right here for Miss Grand International. I feel like, the African countries are not really giving that much recognition. So I'm just, stating facts, saying in case, the African countries are being recognized, okay, these are the countries that I feel like they can't make it to the top 20. Okay, so let's give it up for Ghana, Nigeria, Tanzania, Angola. Yeah, Angola is another country too that I feel like, she's putting strings. And Zambia. Okay, I think these are the 4 African countries that, that are standing out for me so far in this competition. So anyways, like I said, Miss Grand is kind of very difficult to predict sometimes. Okay, apart from the body, because you have 4 B's: beauty, body, brains. I feel like you never can tell what wants at the end of the day. So any of these African countries, any of these 8 African countries can take it. But for me personally, I feel like the 4 standouts, the countries that stood out for me rather, are Ghana, Nigeria, Tanzania, Angola, and Zambia. Okay, those are the 4 African countries that are standing out for me so far, or 5 African countries rather, that are standing out for me so far in the competition. Okay, so good luck to all the African countries, and let's see what happens in the finals.